Welcome to Lourdes Hill. As English teachers gather on a Saturday to do what we do best, and that's care about English teaching. It's my great privilege to give you my President's welcome to our Feast of English. English teachers have responded to the challenge of the upcoming senior syllabuses by coming out in huge numbers this year to attend Vision 2020 events. Our past records have been broken with over 400 people at Seminar 1, where we had a crash course on the text list. Sold out events for quality assessment and Masterclass Unit 3, and that's new for us. What has been exciting for us also has been in partnership with the English folk at the QCAA in 2019, sharing their expertise to create some highly relevant stimulus for teachers. We're now excited about the final weekend of Vision 2020, Masterclass Unit 4. It's on October 20th and 21st at QUT, and we've done the spin around the universities in Brisbane, you'll notice. After conducting focus groups at the last Masterclass, this last event is being tailored to teachers' needs for this final important unit in Year 12. I particularly wish to thank Sophie Johnson and Julie Arnold for their inspired leadership of this very special package of PD. Another big success for 2018 has been our members' engagement with social media. I'm proud to announce that ETAC's Facebook page has now reached the milestone of 2,000 likes. That's a 33% increase over the last 12 months, and it's coupled with large increases in our Instagram and Twitter reach as well. It's very pleasing that members have been able to have important conversations about all things English, and if you're not there are some really great conversations going on. Congrats particularly to Jared Adams for his inspiring leadership of our social media team. Today's our 51st birthday. Now that's a pretty clunky number. It's a pleasure to have Lenore Ferguson, one of our life members, here with us today, sharing in the conference. But it's with sadness that I note that one of our speakers from last year, our past patron who spoke at our 50th birthday celebration dinner, Glyn Davies, is no longer with us. Glyn won many hearts during his long patronage and enthusiastic support of ETAC. He was very active in the 80s in supporting our work. He won more hearts again last year as he generously travelled a great distance to share in the celebrations in 2017. It was not very long after that Glyn succumbed to his illness. Valet, Glyn Davies. Today we have 377 people sharing with us. We have 30 people from north of Bundaberg, from as far away as Cairns and Atherton, as well as 2 from as far west as Miles. Welcome also to Julie Bain, joining us from Coffs Harbour. We don't have many New South Wales people come and join us. Our broad state offers us some challenges in supporting teachers in the very far-flung places. Our Townsville and Toowoomba branches have been extremely active in providing a wealth of PD for their members, especially in the last 2 years where it's just gone a little bit nuts, in a good way. Therefore, it is highly appropriate that I move to commend to you our recipient of Life Membership for 2018, Heather Fraser. Heather Fraser is the long-serving president of ETAC's North Queensland branch based on the city of Townsville. After secondary education at Rockhampton Girls Grammar School and then graduation from James Cook University in 1980, Heather has worked as an English teacher and head of department in schools in both the state and private sectors. The quality and extent of Heather's general contribution to English teaching in the state has previously been acknowledged via a school levels Peter Botsman Award, which was conferred on her in 2002. The Award of Life Membership now formally recognises the value of her service to ETAC as an organisation. Many members probably think of ETAC primarily in terms of such things as PD activities, the website, copies of our journal Wordsworth, communication by email, and increasingly as an online presence for various social media platforms. These are all important, but of course organisations like ETAC are fundamentally groups of people with common interests, in our case, secondary English teaching. As in most organisations, there is the majority who participate in and benefit from the body's various functions, and then the much smaller group of people who make these things happen. Heather Fraser has long been an influential member of this latter group. Her contribution to fellow English teachers through ETAC has been outstanding. Currently, ETAC has 2 active branches outside the Brisbane metropolitan area, the Darling Downs branch based on Toowoomba and the North Queensland branch based on Townsville. At various times in the past, there have also been active ETAC branches elsewhere, which have fallen by the wayside as the groups of people who make them happen move away or retire. We certainly hope some of them will be resurrected in the future. Along with the late Professor Pam Gilbert, Heather was instrumental in forming the North Queensland branch in 1981, and she's served as its president since 1992. That's now more than a quarter of a century. The fact that the North Queensland branch has lasted the distance and continues to flourish is due in no small part to the passion, leadership and continued self-sacrificing effort of Heather Fraser. That's not to say, of course, that the North Queensland branch is a one-woman band. Heather has been well supported by a variety of committee members over the years. She's been highly proactive in recognising and encouraging talented teachers around her, nominating them for awards for their service to the profession. She's also been very supportive of those in leadership positions in North Queensland, helping to break down the barrier of distance. It is difficult not to be impressed by the impact of Heather's personal effort. Her energy and example at the branch level have been exemplary. As well as conducting local PD events, the branch under Heather's leadership hosted a successful state conference in Townsville in 2009. It's also very pleasing to note the very productive relationship that has been fostered with James Cook University, resulting in a wide range of high-quality professional development events, especially in the last 2 years. Heather Fraser's individual contribution to ETAC, and through it to the state's English teachers, particularly in the north of the state, has been sustained and of the highest order. She's an eminently deserving recipient of an Award of Life membership. Please join me in congratulating Heather Fraser. You got a photo? Jared. Didn't happen unless we photographed it. Once more with Heather. I now invite Heather to respond.
Thanks, Fiona. I'm indeed honoured by those very lovely words from Fiona. And thank you so much to Fiona and Gary and ETAC for this incredibly fine award. Unconditional love is the reason why we're on this planet. I call it love theory, and that is why we teach. Our unconditional work is usually our best work. When I have a very bad day, I still see this little girl I taught in my head. It was at Air High in the late 80s. Some of you will remember back that far. And I rocked up to show off the baby that I'd carried around. Jen, sorry. Oh, can't hear me. Want me to, yeah?
No, thank you.
Oh, thank you. Yeah. Sorry. You're right. Okay, it was Air High in the late 80s, and I rocked up to show off the baby that I'd carried around for the last 9 months while commuting from Townsville to Ayr daily. She stopped me, this little girl, and said, "Miss, If I'd have known you're carrying that thing around inside you, I wouldn't have given you half the hard time that I did give you. We are what we are because of a number of influences. I want to pay some gratitude to my extremely hard-working parents who were both community spirited, and I'm sure that's why I'm the sort of person I am. My dad was a politician for 27 years, so you don't get re-elected for that period of time unless you're doing something right. 5 nights a week he'd be out at meetings and doing things for the community, and a lot of his weekend also. Not a cent, and this is what we forget, not a cent was received in payment, as this was the age when politicians did this for their community work because it was so important to them. My mother ran the local pharmacy and she worked 6 days a week also. People would ring the home because they'd missed their scripts or their pills that required daily medication. My mother answered all those calls. She ran the local business and professional women's club, and when she wasn't doing that, she organised flower shows and was heavily involved in the Anglican Church. So I couldn't miss out on the hard-working gene. My parents' life was all about providing educational opportunities for their children. They were very good people, and we do all this because we enjoy it. One of the major influences in my life has been my long association with James Cook University. And this is how ETAC in North Queensland began and is still thriving. My Bachelor of Education was 4 years of great times with both staff and students. Whether it was performing in Shakespearean plays, doing tutorials around the lecturer's swimming pool, imagine that these days, being part of someone's PhD research, being a member of the Banana Theatre Troupe who were agitating for political change, or just helping the community. It bred a desire for knowledge, acquisition and high-level practical translation into the classroom. We were well-trained, committed graduates who wanted to make a difference. My undergraduate years were spent with the like-minded Dr. Anita Jetnikoff, past patron of ETAC, with whom I shared a house and the love of Chaucer. I graduated in 1980 and my first job was at Somerville House, wait for it, teaching Latin, drama and mathematics. But it was only a short time before I made my way back to Townsville's Pimlico State High School. There were some legends of educational leadership running the show. Robin Sullivan became the state's first Children's Commissioner, she was one of them, and the environment was very nurturing of very good practice. So I quickly started interacting with my James Cook University lecturers and tutors. Why? Well, I personally felt that what they were doing at the university could help instruct my practice. I was young and I wanted to make sure that what went on in my classroom was the best, was cutting edge. To ensure that occurred, I asked people like Pam Gilbert, Nola Ralloway, Bill Corcoran and others to come into classrooms and then to attend English teacher gatherings so that they could workshop ideas, build a relationship with teachers and see firsthand what was going on in the schools. It worked wonders. The latent need for both parties to interact was palpable at those early gatherings. People wanted to listen and learn, but more importantly, share ideas with each other, sounding out the lecturers and other teachers about what they were all doing. Did the practice match the theory? Was there a solid educational context pedagogy for what we were endeavouring to do? How did it line up in the big picture? Being able to talk to the experts generated so much discussion and ultimately provided support and confidence to a young cohort of teachers. It wasn't long before it became natural for the university academics to be part of what the English teachers were doing. They all knew each other and there was a manifestly clear agenda to move along the path of incremental improvement where the platform was well articulated and to be more radical in developing a new set of resources and approaches where the gaps and silences existed. The curriculum was the focus. The curriculum was the means to getting the most out of our students. And what we found was that the students responded. As a result of all this activity in 1981, Pam Gilbert and I started the North Queensland branch of the English Teachers Association of Queensland. Things snowballed quickly as the forum provided a means of formal interaction with academics and teachers. The nexus was formed. Drama, poetry, media workshops helped lift the teachers' consciousness and awareness of evolving trends in education. It prepared the ground for a revolution that was yet to be forecast or seen. The North Queensland teachers were being armed with the knowledge and skills required to shift the paradigm in literacy teaching and learning. For a period of 10 years, this interaction built a foundation that started to pay off for both the university and the teaching community. In 1993, Pam Gilbert enrolled 20 of us, making sure every Townsville High School was represented, as only Pam could do, in a Master of Education focusing on English curriculum. She made sure every Townsville school was represented so she could train them in critical literacy. It was tough being a full-time teacher and studying, but we do our intensives in our holidays, meet on weekends and interact on the nascent internet of the times. The energy was high and the involvement produced incredible learning. It was no coincidence that when Pam asked us all to write a unit of work using the critical literacy frameworks that we'd been taught, the resultant work was truly outstanding. Teachers understood it big time. They bought into the new paradigm that translated perfectly for their classroom. Pam had no hesitation, I can still remember the phone call, in ringing me up and saying, "Heather, you're having the baby, so you're editing the book of units. And we'll get that out to every English teacher in Queensland." I had to say, "Yes, Pam." Pam eventually received National Professional Development Profile funds and we were published, and I edited the publication. The book, challenging the text, had its own ISBN and was massively successful. It was nominated for an Excellence in Education Award. Every Queensland English teacher received a free copy and we made sure it was free. New South Wales reprinted it at a later date, and we had to reprint it twice because we'd actually thrown out all the proofs. We thought we might need it again. Teachers used it and the movement began. North Queensland teachers had produced excellence. Regional samples started to appear as state exemplars. People started asking, what is going on up there? James Cook University developed a reputation for high quality literacy research and teaching. Academics from across the country and around the world were attracted to this little hotspot in literacy teaching and learning. At the height of this activity in 1995, Townsville attracted the 4th International Literacy and Education Research Network Conference on Learning. The attendance was high and teachers could participate in conversations about literacy education. But ultimately, the proof is in the pudding. All that hard work by academics and teachers paid off when critical literacy was adopted into the Queensland curriculum in 2002. The English syllabus writers had taken what we'd done in the early 90s and made it law. It's amazing what can be achieved, and isn't it great to see loads of critical literacy in the new syllabus? This is only one story of what ETAC can do for you. Thanks to all those very amazing staff I've worked with over the years, the generous human beings who give their time freely to organisations like ETAC. And Ray Maguire, I'm not sure if you're in the auditorium today, one of the writers of the ELA syllabus, the Rambo Pack. I wanted to single you out because your inspiration and friendship over an incredibly long period has helped nurture me as an English teacher and as a head of department. Gail Mackay, one of the most outstanding educational leaders I've ever seen. I was incredibly lucky to work with her early on in my career, and she taught me many tricks I still keep up my sleeve. Thanks to my fabulous family who've allowed me the time and space to pursue my passions, and I leave you here to seize the day today. Take it with both hands and enjoy the nurturing spirit that surrounds every ETAC state conference, and do enjoy the friendships, and remember, give unconditionally.